Do you worry about damaging your plant's roots when repotting? Well, guess what? You don't have to, because today I'm going to show you exactly how to repot your houseplant safely and correctly so you can stop worrying and start enjoying beautiful, thriving plants. Repotting the right way can extend your plant's life, but a wrong step might stress or even kill it. So let's get into it. Hello, welcome back to our channel where we make indoor plant care simple and stress-free. Today we're going to cover how to properly repot your houseplants. We'll go over what materials you'll need, why repotting is important, and how to repot your plant the right way so you can avoid making any mistakes. When it comes to repotting your houseplants, there are a few key items that you'll need to get started. First, you'll need a new pot with drainage holes. Drainage holes are really important because they allow excess water to escape from the pot, which prevents the roots from becoming waterlogged and eventually rotting away. Next, you'll need some fresh potting mix. The potting mix is the stuff that you fill the pot with that the plant's roots will actually grow in. It's important to use a potting mix that's suited for the type of plant that you're growing. For example, some plants like succulents and cacti require a well-draining potting mix that's specifically designed for them. In addition to these two main items, there are a few other things that you may want to have on hand depending on your situation. For example, if you're repotting a sensitive area, you may want to wear gloves to protect your hands from dirt and grime. Or if you're working with a large pot, you may want to have someone else help you lift it. Another optional item that you may want to use is pebbles or perlite for the drainage layer at the bottom of the pot. This can help improve the drainage and aeration of the potting mix. One last thing to consider is the size of the new pot. It's important to choose a pot that's appropriately sized for your plant. A pot that's too small will restrict the root growth, and a pot that's too big can cause overwatering and root rot. So now that you have all of your materials ready, let's talk about why repotting is important. In general, it's a good idea to repot your plants when they become root bound. Root bound is when the roots fill up the pot and start growing out of the drainage holes or circling around inside the pot. When a plant becomes root bound, it's basically running out of room to grow. This can cause the plant to become stressed, and it won't be able to get the water and nutrients it needs to stay healthy. Repotting your plant into a larger pot gives it the room it needs to continue growing, and it also gives you a chance to refresh the soil and provide your plant with the nutrients it needs. Additionally, repotting can be beneficial if you notice that the soil is losing its ability to retain moisture, or if it's starting to look dry and crumbly. Over time, the soil can lose its nutrients and become compacted, which can make it difficult for the roots to absorb water and minerals. By repotting your plant in fresh soil, you can give it a much-needed boost of nutrition. Finally, you should also repot your plant if you notice that it's not growing as vigorously as it used to, or if it's starting to show signs of distress such as wilting or yellowing leaves. These could be signs that the plant is root bound or that the soil is no longer providing the plant with the water and nutrients it needs. Overall, repotting is an important part of caring for your houseplants. It helps keep them healthy and happy, and it allows them to continue growing and thriving in your home. Now that you understand why repotting is important, it's time to learn how to do it the right way. The first step to repotting your plant is to remove it from the old pot. If you have a small plant, you can do this by hand. But for larger plants, you may need to use a shovel to help loosen the plant from the sides of the pot. Once the plant has been removed, take a close look at the roots and remove any dead or rotting roots. You can tell if a root is dead or rotting if it's brown or black and mushy to the touch. It's important to remove these roots because they can spread disease to the rest of the plant. Next, add a drainage layer to the bottom of the new pot. This can be made up of small stones or gravel, but if you're using something like pebbles, make sure they're small enough to fit through the drainage holes. Another option is to use perlite, which is a lightweight substance made from the mineral vermiculite. Perlite is a great option because it's sterile, so there's no risk of introducing pests or diseases into your plant. Once the drainage layer is in place, it's time to put the plant into the new pot. If you're using a container that doesn't have a bottom, you'll need to add a few inches of soil to the bottom before placing the plant inside. Then fill the pot with the remaining soil, leaving about an inch of space at the top. This will give you room to water the plant without spilling. Gently press the soil down around the plant to stabilize it and make sure there are no air pockets. Leave about an inch of space at the top of the pot to make it easier to water the plant. Fill the pot with water and let the excess drain out. This will help settle the soil and ensure that the roots are saturated. Take your plant out of the container and discard the old pot. Place the plant in the new pot and repeat steps 3 through 7. Once you've finished repotting your plant, there are a few things that you can do to help it transition to its new home. First, don't place it in direct sunlight for a few days. This will help it gradually adjust to its new environment. Second, don't overwater your plant immediately after repotting. It's important to let the soil dry out a bit before watering again. Usually this means waiting about 2 weeks. However, you'll have to feel the soil to see if it's dry. You can insert your finger about an inch into the soil. If it feels dry, it's time to water. Just be careful not to overwater. Finally, give your plant a couple of weeks to adjust to its new surroundings. During this time, it may not grow as much as you'd like, but that's normal. Just make sure it's getting enough light and water, and it should bounce back in no time. There are a few additional things to keep in mind when repotting your plant. First, don't choose an oversized pot. It may seem tempting to go up 2 or 3 pot sizes when repotting your plant, but this can actually be harmful. A pot that's too big can hold too much water, and this can lead to root rot and other problems. It's best to only move up 1 pot size when repotting. Another thing to keep in mind is that repotting can be stressful for your plant. There's a lot of work involved in growing new roots and adjusting to a new environment, so it's important to be patient. Don't expect your plant to start growing quickly after repotting. It takes time to recover from the stress of repotting and start growing again. So just give it a few weeks and then sit back and enjoy watching it grow. Repotting your houseplants doesn't have to be stressful or overwhelming. By following these easy steps, you can help keep your plants healthy and happy for years to come. So grab your gardening gloves, get a little dirty, and watch your plants thrive. And that's it. Now you know how to safely repot your houseplants without stress. Proper repotting keeps your plant healthy and thriving. If this video is helpful, don't forget to hit the like button below and leave us a comment. We love hearing from you. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. We post new videos every week on indoor plant care and so much more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.